So welcome to this session of the Thriving Families Africa Summit. And today we are talking about a theme that speaks directly to parents and young people alike. The topic is Between Generations, what young adults wish parents understood. My goodness, parents of young adults, I hope you're all here because we are going to have quite a conversation. So we know the familiar frustrations. Parents say the young people don't listen, and young adults are like, our parents just don't get it. There's all this back and forth that goes, and these tensions just reflect in our everyday experiences. And our guest today, Hana Gitau, is a younger millennial and a clinical psychologist in training who has worked closely with Gen Zs. That's how I met Hannah in a session and several fora that I've been invited to for young people. And so both in her work and her personal life, she brings a unique perspective, I believe, into how young people see the world and what families can learn when they truly listen. Hannah, we are so glad to have you here in this summit. Karibu.
You so much. Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Carol. It is always a pleasure speaking with you.
Mm.
And when I met you, the first time I heard about you, it was from Brian,
Mm.
founder of Achilles Space, and he was talking about his lecturer that has supported him this far.
Mm.
And when I met you, I understood why you and the young people, you have a passion for the young people. And the way you stand with the young people, honestly, it's very admirable. So thank you for having me. I am glad to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking forward to the perspectives that you will bring into this space today. And so we just jump right in and just tell me, how did you find yourself doing what I found you doing in that first in that first engagement that we were invited to by Achilles? It's just a bit about your journey and how you found
Okay.
yourself into this space.
Okay. So when you said younger millennial, I take it. Thank you. So the thing is, I was going through a period in my life where I was trying to find my calling, to find my, how do I say it, my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So I had done a lot. I had children, I had a family, I had done my communications degree, and I was in the family business and I was existing. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't thriving. I was existing. And then a traumatic experience happened in my life, and my life just turned upside down. And everything that I knew, what I thought I knew, I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, story for another day. But basically,
So you're
as
going
I
to
was,
keep us hanging, eh? So,
so you
so.
can call me in next time.
Okay, all right, I will do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So, in church, I am a Christian, yeah, and I serve in church, and I serve in the media team in church, and I also sing in church. So, the founder of Achilles Space was, we serve together in church in the media team, same church. So it was just a serendipitous meeting. So one day we are at a meeting, and he sits next to me. So as we are waiting for the others to come, we just start talking, and he asks me, "Are you a psychologist?" I'm like, "No, but I've really been looking into psychology." And we start to talk, and he tells me about Achilles Space, and it was like a light bulb moment. And God was like, "So this is where you're supposed to go. So follow through." So
Mhm.
that's how I met him. And Achilles Space and the work it does with the youth in the correctional facilities and the work it does with the youth everywhere around Kenya. I felt like this is what I'm called to do in the mental health space. And so I joined them. And then a few months later, I joined the university, went back to do my master's in clinical psychology. And in my master's in clinical psychology, I was the youngest because the first semester, I was the oldest, sorry. The first semester was undergraduate. So I needed to have some what are they called, prerequisite courses in psychology. So those foundational courses, I found myself with a group of young people, a group of Gen Zs, and we became friends. To this day, we're very close. We're moving together. They keep me keep me motivated because
Yeah.
hey, going back to school at any age can be difficult. So that's how, in my personal life, in my work life, I'm surrounded by Gen Zs and I love them. They're amazing. They understand me. I understand them. They have this zeal for life that I look at and I'm like, yeah, I was once like that, and I refuse to for it to die out. So we are just pushing each other. So that's how I got into the Gen Z space.
You say it like there's such a wide gap between you and them. Like I was once like that.
In a
Yeah.
big in my 20s, I can barely remember my 20s. I think it was my choices, the choices that I made, and they made me. I became a mom at 23.
Okay.
And by 30, I had all my four children and I
Mhm.
was done having children. And then it's like, so there's this song that says, the miaka yaliyoliwa na nzige. So
Mhm.
that is my miaka yaliyoliwa na nzige. So now I'm back. The
Oh,
years that were eaten by the locusts, now I'm there.
so
And I love it.
you love it. You're
Yes.
getting back those years.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. I
Yeah.
didn't know the part of 4 children under 30. I feel like I should call you for another conversation within this summit so that we can talk about that.
Yes. That one I will not recommend for everyone. It's hard,
I hear
but
you.
it's amazing. It's an amazing experience.
Yeah, but what I've noted is that you flow so well. Actually, the first time I met you, I really just thought you were as young as the Gen Zs, and
Oh,
that's
thank you.
what really stood out for me. So I know that you are able to double in both worlds with a lot of ease, and you
Yeah.
listen to both sides. So my question to you is, what are these perplexities that are there? You know, these things of, okay, I don't get this, I don't understand. What are these perplexities on both sides of the generational divide?
So there are a few.
Mm,
So I'm referring to my notes right here. So
not a problem.
the yes. So the first thing is the parents' view of success and the Gen Z's views of success totally different in this day and age.
Mm,
So success by the parents is measured by stability, a university degree, a salaried job, marriage, children, land or property ownership. You know what we believe is now nimefika, I have made it. But
mm,
for the Gen Zs, they are embracing non-traditional paths. This is the generation that we're in right now. So there's creative industries, digital careers, e.g., influencing. They
mm,
make money influencing.
right.
So for a parent, that one would be like, you just spend time talking to a phone and you're making money. How is that a career? How is that sustainable? Um, so we have side hustles, activism. So for Gen Z, success includes purpose, it includes flexibility and mental
Mental
well-being.
health. Ah,
Mental well-being.
yeah.
Because if you hear many Gen Z say, that environment was toxic, so I quit.
Right.
The parent wants to choke because try saying it was toxic, you quit. Vumilia.
Mm,
Like, yeah, persevere. No, no, for them, mental well-being is important. So the perplexity here is that they see this as laziness or as seriousness,
yeah.
while Gen Z sees it as adapting to a world with fewer guarantees and
Mm.
more choices. We have many more choices for them.
And it's
Yes,
okay
and
not to have the 100% guarantee we are looking for.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
I love
exactly.
it.
Then the next one is mental health awareness versus stigma.
Mm,
So maybe the millennials, because parents to Gen Zs are mostly Gen Xs.
mm,
And if we are being honest, mental health was not discussed, even for us millennials. It was not discussed as openly as it is being discussed in this generation.
mm,
So there is strength for that generation, for the parents' generation, meant resilience in silence. You keep it to yourself. What is depression? Get up, go and smell the air and get over it.
mm,
That is how we were taught how to, you couldn't tell your parent, oh, I have depression. What is depression? You wanted it. We umejitakia.
mm,
So for them, for the Gen Zs, they are more open-minded about, they're more open about anxiety, about depression, about burnout and trauma.
mm.
They are
That
that part
word.
for
Mm,
trauma. So for them, I think it's a plus that you understand that the things I went through, the way I was raised, is making me the person that I am today. So I went through this and it made me feel a certain way, made me behave a certain way, and I am the way I am because of this thing that I went through. I think for them, they're more open
mm,
to accepting that fact. Maybe if I should, let me just say this. The way I was raised, yeah, I was raised by a parent who, she was a lovely woman, but she was a shouter. She loved to shout. And that made put something in me and it made me a certain way. And I had sworn I will never shout at my children. Wait until I got my 4 children.
oh,
I
that's
shout
23.
23.
Yeah.
What do you say? I don't know how else. This is how I was raised. That is just how I continue. So
Right.
now my kids will tell me, mommy, you're shouting. Mommy, don't shout. Mommy, talk. So I tell them in this house we don't shout, but I shout. So they'll
Mm,
tell you, don't shout. So maybe my trauma has what do I say? It has so the words have gone,
eh,
but it has that's
healed.
how I raise my children.
Okay.
No, like I raise my children based on my trauma.
Has
So
played
we
out
just
in your
continue.
parenting.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. It has played out in my parenting.
Yeah.
So we just continue what I know. But
Yeah.
for the Gen Zs, they're like, okay, so this is what was done to me. I don't want to continue and I'm going to talk about it. So
Mhm.
sometimes like there was let me call her an influencer online who was talking about how her mom and the things that her mom had done to her. And it was a series. It was a series of the things that the mom had done. And it was episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. And if you looked at the comments,
Mm,
most of the people who are saying, respect your parents. You cannot talk like that about your parents. Hata kama ni, even if they are the devil, they are still your parents. So now, where is the balance?
right.
Because this person needs to vent. It happened to her, not to you. And it hurt her. So where is the balance?
Good
Okay. So the perplexity is that parents might dismiss mental health concerns as overthinking or spiritual weakness, while Gen Zs feel invalidated and emotionally unsupported.
Mhm.
The next one is freedom of expression versus respect for authority.
I tell you.
Because for parents, respect is equated with obedience, silence, and following traditional norms. Questioning elders is seen as rude.
Mhm.
But for the Gen Z, they believe in freedom of speech, open conversations, challenging norms, and advocating for rights.
Mhm.
Feminism, mental health, even LGBTQ. They
Mhm.
need to be given, they just want to be able to speak freely. We don't have to agree.
Mhm.
Parents see assertiveness as rebellion or Western influence, while Gen Z sees it as honesty and growth.
Mhm.
So freedom of expression. So as we were, when their parents are being raised, it was a child is to be seen and not to be heard.
Mhm.
They want to be heard and to be seen. So how do we balance that?
Mhm.
The next one is digital versus analog upbringing. So for our parents, for their parents, they grew up in offline communities with clear rules, hierarchies, and a slower paced life.
Mhm.
Phones, even for us millennials, when we were in high school, phones were not normal like today. In social media and things like that, it was not normal. But for today, they live online. There's social media, global culture, influencers, memes, remote work, and real time news. That is what shapes their worldview. So parents may see this as obsession or detachment from reality, while Gen Z sees this as their primary social and economic landscape. Social media is my job. Social media is my news. Social media is my friend. Is my
Right.
friend group.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So how do the parents stop seeing that as a problem and try to, like indulge them a little, understand how, because what you again, the parents might be just it's something they don't understand. So when you don't understand it, you don't accept it. How about trying to understand it?
Yeah. Because the
All right,
natural
then
for us, when we don't understand human nature, when we don't understand something, we either dismiss or we push it back because we don't understand.
exactly.
Yeah. Mhm.
Exactly. Thank you for giving me the words. Exactly.
Mhm.
Another one is approach to religion and spirituality. Now, this one. So their parents were often raised strict Christian or Muslim traditions where religious practices were non-negotiable.
Mhm.
Sunday, you go to church. Friday, you go to the mosque. Here, we believe in God. We don't mock God. We don't. Here, we believe in God. But the Gen Z, so many of them are questioning, redefining, or stepping away from organized religion, exploring spirituality, agnosticism, or atheism.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
have friends who are atheists, and the first time he told me, I'm an atheist. My first response was, shindwe shetani. And
Yeah.
then and then he tried to explain it to me. He was like, so, but me being atheist, I believe neither in God nor the devil. Me being atheist does not mean I worship the devil. So
Yeah.
now we sat down and I was like, okay, I may not agree with you, but
Yeah.
I understand you.
And I think in
Understand.
this age of information, because the moment, especially now, you go either to TikTok or Instagram or Twitter, whatever you consume is what the algorithm brings more and more. So the likelihood of you uh, tending towards agnosticism, if that's the
Yes,
word,
that's the word.
are higher because the information that's coming into your space is to convince you. And the same way,
Yes,
whether it's Christianity or Muslim. So they're having a lot of information that's causing them to that's proving or
exactly.
answering the questions that they have, right?
Exactly. Because actually, when you said that, I remember he said he went through like a few years of digging into atheism and finding out what it is about and looking into groups and things like that.
Mm.
And you're so right. The information that is out there, if you look for it, you'll find exactly what you want to hear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 Mm.
So parents may see this as moral decay. Gen Z may feel suffocated by dogma without dialogue. Dogma without dialogue. They want open, respectful conversations. Don't just feed them with what you believe and expect them to get into it.
Yeah. Or
Explain it to them.
shut them down.
Exactly.
Mm.
So we go to career choices and economic realities. Parents believe in just work hard, get a degree, and the job will come.
Mm.
That is not
There's even
true.
a song, so many vijana, ukimaliza
Exactly.
kusoma utapata kazi nzuri sana.
Bas. Can
Yeah.
you imagine? Now that's how we grew up. They even made songs about it. It is not true. Tamarking, the word tamarking
Yeah.
came from people walking around looking for jobs with their certificates. But for the Gen Zs, a degree no longer guarantees a job.
Mm.
Many are turning to gig work, side hustles, and online income, e.g., TikTok, YouTube, and remote freelancing. So the perplexity here is that parents may view this as unstable or unserious, while Gen Zs are just adapting to a volatile economy and disrupted job market. Kuna kazi.
They are adjusting to a volatile economy and a what? Disrupted job market.
Yes, and a disrupted job market. Yeah. So delayed life milestones. So parents, some of them were married by mid-20s. Some of us had children at 20, 23. They bought land before 30. You know the way your parents will tell you the way at your age, I was something, I was doing something, I was being something. But the Gen Z, they're delaying marriage, delaying having kids and buying property. They don't even have the money to buy property, to even get married. Because you'll ask someone, first of all, the way they say Gen Z don't fear anything except marriage and children.
And hot porridge.
Porridge.
Yeah.
So you see, that's the thing. They don't even, when you ask some of them, they're like, even if they're willing to marry, they don't have the money. They believe that they need to have the money to be able to take care of a family. So that becomes a problem. So, but due to cost of living, emotional readiness, and changing priorities, that part. Nowadays, marriage is not a priority anymore. Having children at a certain age is really not a priority anymore. So for them, the priorities of their parents and their priorities are different. So how about parents just see what are your priorities in life right now? Because you don't have to follow a certain timetable. Change things up. So parents see this as failure to grow up. Gen Zs feel judged for making intentional or necessary life decisions. There are also those who say they're not going to have children.
Yeah.
They say they're not going to get married. And that's life. It's an intentional life decision.
It's unfathomable for a Gen X or a boomer.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I see, I see them online being bashed for not having children. And even the older, like maybe a Gen X who never had children, never got married. And this person is a famous musician and they sing so beautifully. But in the comment section, where is your husband? Where are your children? You are unfulfilled because you did not. It's ridiculous. So I think the Gen Zs are challenging that, and the Gen Xs might not like it very much. Okay. Something else is values around gender and identity. And for parents, there were very rigid gender roles, men as providers, women as caretakers. For the Gen Z, they're challenging gender norms, supporting gender equality, fluid identities, the he, they, she, them, all that, and autonomy. So parents may view this as confusing for all non-African. It's un-African, it's also un-Christian. But Gen Zs want inclusivity, equality, and freedom. Yes. So nowadays, we all work. We're all supposed to take care of our children. We're all supposed, but in their parents' days, the woman took care of the children. The father went to work. So most of the time, even when you're speaking to Gen Zs and they talk about when they remember a nurturing or a loving parent, they remember the mother. When they're talking about money, they talk about the father. But generations have changed. Women are out here making money and still raising children. So we need to fall in line. So another one is communication style differences. Parents value indirect, respectful, often formal communication, but Gen Zs are more direct, emotionally expressive, and informal in how they communicate, even with elders. So parents may take offense at perceived disrespect. Gen Zs may feel misunderstood or silenced. Honestly, there are times when Gen Z, like you're in a forum and they're talking and they're airing their differences, and like I cringe a little. I'm like, that one is older than you. Calm down. Calm down.
Even you, who is so much in their space. Yeah.
I cringe a little bit. So, I even call someone later and they're like, you don't talk to your elders like that. And then they're like, if my elders also don't respect me, hey, it is inborn. Inside me, it is inborn. Even if they call you what they will call you, you keep quiet and take it. They don't understand that one. Yes, so that's the end for me for that.
Wow. And I mean, I'm a Gen X, okay?
Yes.
And because I've been in this space, I'm a lot more open to hearing these conversations, but I know there are those of us who are watching, who are listening, and everything is rising against, inside, and they're like, so now what? That it's okay to be fluid, it's okay to question religion, it's okay. So first of all, I just want to take a moment and speak to that person and just say, just take a deep breath in and out. Stay open, stay curious, because this summit has resources for everyone. And even in this conversation, it's important for us to lean into the realities. This is the reality of Gen Zs, and this is the information they're getting. So it's not about giving them permission, because really they're adults. It's not like we can stop.
That part.
Yeah, but then it's also not like we are losing our values or anything. We're just saying this is the reality on the ground. And so take a moment, deep breath in and out, invite curiosity and openness into this conversation, and let's learn together. So back to you, Hannah. My question then is, so now what? So now what? What do you wish more parents understood about the pressures, about the realities that young adults and Gen Zs are going through? And yeah.
So what let me bring in a little bit of psychology. So there's a new group called the emerging adults, and that's where the Gen Zs are. And it was so it says that young adults are navigating a complex and often overwhelming set of challenges, ones that are very different from what their parents faced. And the pressures, I have mentioned some of them up there: economic uncertainty, social expectations, to identity struggles, digital influences, and the like. So understanding this struggle requires a modern psychological lens. So this guy, his name is Jeffrey Arnett. He has a theory called the theory of emerging adulthood.
Yeah.
So it's for people between the ages of 18 to 29, 28 to 29. And this is what they're currently living through. So it's characterized by identity exploration, instability, self-focus, feeling in between, possibilities, and optimism. So can you imagine at 18, you're an adult. So you're on the cusp. You were a child here yesterday. Yesterday at 17, you are a child. Today, you're an adult. Now what? So you have an ID. Now what? It's so uncertain. And then you're just put out into the world and you're supposed to take care of yourself. How? So it's a very crucial stage. So we have career pressure amid economic instability. Sorry, are we talking about parents, the things we wish our parents understood?
Yeah.
So the first one is career pressure and amid economic instability. So what parents often expect is you should have a stable job, but the reality is that they're stuck in the limbo of internships, unpaid gigs, entrepreneurial attempts, not out of laziness, but out of necessity. So according to the emerging adulthood theory, this instability is expected during this life phase. It is expected and it is okay. But in Kenya, it often brings shame, comparison, and mental health struggles because societal and parental expectations haven't caught up with economic realities.
The comparison.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, kama mtoto wa nani? Oh, that one is living in a... The unfortunate bit is when you hear about forex traders and what forex in quotes, not the actual forex trading, what it has become nowadays.
Okay.
And it's because there's a certain lifestyle they want to live up to. And people will do anything to get there because they have so much pressure from all over to be something at an age where they need to be figuring it out. They need to be finding themselves. It's okay to be broke. At that age, it is okay to be broke. People need to understand that. Then the next one is the weight of cultural expectations. Traditional expectations around marriage, respectability, and responsibility. Adults find themselves unable to measure up. And that's because they're still figuring out what they are or what they want. A 25-year-old may be seen as irresponsible for being unmarried. Can you believe that? A 28-year-old woman without a child, they'll tell you, Mezeka, you're getting old, get that child.
Even if you don't find a husband, it's okay. Just get a child. Just bring us a child.
Get a child, tutalea, we will raise.
Yeah.
And then postpartum, we will also take it together. People need to be serious. So Annette calls this the feeling in between, not a child anymore, but not quite an adult. Then there's mental health and hidden struggles.
Yeah.
With limited mental health support and heavy stigma, they silently struggle with anxiety, depression, and burnout. Social media adds another layer of pressure, creating unrealistic comparisons and a false sense of failure. False sense of failure. You are not a failure because you're not driving a Jaguar at 25. Everybody's race is different. Just take your own risk, flow with it. So parents may interpret withdrawal, moodiness, or shifting interest as laziness or rebellion, rather than signs of deep internal conflicts and distress. Emerging adulthood is a period of exploration, but also of vulnerability. Young people need empathy, not judgment.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
I think I love the thread of the theory of emerging adults that you're bringing in, because it's normalizing this space. helping us see that this actually is reality. Theories
Yes.
are, people say that's just a theory. Actually, it's not. Theories are
No.
are because of a lot of research that has been done.
Exactly.
And, we're
Yes.
able to connect it even with the realities on the ground. So let's just narrow it down to mental health in young adults. What are some of these myths about young adults and mental health that you would like to challenge that we have?
Okay. So the first one is that young people are just overthinking or being dramatic. When you're feeling this workplace is toxic, I cannot handle it for my mental health, you're being dramatic. But the reality is that mental health challenges are real. They're not exaggerations or just moods that one can simply shake off. Many young people, we are overwhelmed. Economic pressure, societal expectations, unemployment, social comparison, and trauma. That word right there, trauma. So we're not being dramatic, we're dealing with silent battles that you don't always see. Yes. The second one, you're too young to be depressed. What do you even have to stress about? So this is especially for when you're in the university, when you're in college or right after college, and sometimes even your parents are the ones they're taking care of you. So when you tell them you feel depressed, saizo you're jobless. You want to have a little more money than what you're being given, and you cannot keep omba. It's all the time mommy give, but daddy give. Then there's pressure, social isolation, digital overload. So many things are going on in a young person's life. Even children, Gen Alpha, they also go through mental health challenges. They're not too young. So age does not protect them from pain. I need people to understand that. And then myth number 3, you just need to pray more or have stronger faith. I started Uko by saying that I am a Christian and I am born again. I believe in faith. I believe that God heals. He heals. He can remove that pain. He can remove the trauma. He can. But something I also tell people is there's a reason why there are doctors. There's a reason why he made therapists. There's a reason why he made mechanics. When something is broken, fix it. When you are broken mentally, emotionally, go to the person who can help you to fix that. I remember when I was going through a really tough period in my life. I had lost my brother, and then I was in a marriage it was horrible. So I decided to get help, and I was on antidepressants. And then an in-law asked me, so we were just seated and we started to talk, and then I just mentioned it because I don't feel shame ever in taking antidepressants or going to therapy or seeking a psychiatrist. I do not feel shame at all, and people should not feel shame. So when I started to talk about it, she said, "Oh, those dawas are not even good. You should go to church. You should just pray. You're going to be okay." She was a nurse. So in my head, I'm like, "You're a nurse. You're a medic." So I asked her, "So when someone has pneumonia, you also tell them to pray?" You will tell them to pray, and then they add the antibiotic. It's the same thing. I am praying, but I'm also going to take care of my hormones, the hormonal imbalance. I'm going to take care of the problems, because it's not like I have not been praying. You need to understand, it's not like I've not been praying, but I needed to do more. So I felt I was a little combative that day, because I was like, you cannot, this is not what we need to be telling people. This is wrong information. Yeah. So faith is powerful, spirituality can be healing, but mental illness is not a spiritual weakness. Depression is not a demon, and anxiety is not a punishment. It is okay to pray and see a therapist. Faith and therapy can coexist. Basically, they can coexist. The fourth one,
and that's just beyond young adults. It's really
yes,
a general message out there when it comes to
yes,
health, that we can actually both can coexist, and they should
yes,
coexist.
they should.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Then the fourth one is that therapy is for the rich, the weak, or the crazy. So when you tell someone, because let me tell you, when you're in a setting and you tell some people that you, especially these generations of ours that are not open like that to mental health, and you tell them that you usually see a therapist. Are you crazy? You're insane. So you're not usually right in the head. See that part? You're not right in the head. That's the first thing that will come to their mind. So you are depressed because you're weak. Strengthen up, toughen up, get up and continue. You should not let everything put you down. Those things, they make me angry, because therapy is for anyone who wants to heal, grow, or cope better. You actually don't even have to be depressed to go to therapy. You can even be, okay, so I'm transitioning to school and I don't know how to go about it, I don't know how to feel about it. Go deal with those emotions in therapy. It's okay. So it's not a luxury or a sign of weakness. It's a form of health care, like seeing a doctor when you're sick. and it's becoming more accessible through community programs, youth centers, and online platforms like a Kili space. We make it more accessible. Yes. The number 5, if you're functioning, if you're going to school or work, you're fine.
Yeah.
Many young people are high functioning but deeply struggling inside. They may smile, perform, and keep going, but that doesn't mean they're okay. This
Yeah.
is called smiling depression or masked anxiety. Just because we're coping doesn't mean we are thriving. You can just be existing and you're doing it because you need to go to class, you need to do, you need to do, you're forced to, but that doesn't mean that you're okay.
Yeah. And
Then
I
the
think
6th one,
just slow down. That's a very important point. Just because
yeah,
I'm thriving and I'm getting good grades and I'm going to
yes,
school and I seem to be doing what is expected just doesn't mean I'm okay. Because
exactly.
I've seen that a lot with parents who now come to me and tell me, but they were fine and everything was going on well. And where is all this coming from? And then from the
Yes.
side of a young adult, they start talking about all these things. You didn't do this, you didn't do that. And it
Mm,
becomes a very awkward space for both because the parent is just like, I mean, you can't just come with all this this is out, they say it's out of nowhere.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Mm.
is never out of nowhere. It's not out of nowhere. And it's the same thing as when you listen, unfortunately, to family or friends of people who commit suicide. They will tell you he was the happiest amongst us. So many comedians commit suicide. He was the happiest. He was the life of the party. But he was also the loneliest. He was also the most depressed. He was also not okay. So yeah, just because someone is going on with life, they're not thriving.
Mhm.
So number 6, talking about mental health means you're attention seeking. So the reality, being open about mental health is brave. It helps reduce stigma, encourages others to seek help, and promotes healing.
Yeah.
Silence is what kills, not openness.
Right. And what is who
Yes,
said there's something wrong with attention seeking? Let's just talk about that. I am seeking attention because I'm struggling, but we have
exactly.
also demonized or something.
Yes, yes,
Being able to seek attention. And I know we can say, yeah, there's that attention seeking that is extreme, all that.
yes,
Hey, let people seek attention when they're having issues. That's
yes.
fine. Yeah.
No, I agree. I totally agree with that. There's something I realized. So my friends, was it even yesterday or the day before? And we were just going up the stairs, and then one of my friends asked me, "Hey, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And then he said, "Are you sure? I mean, you're just like bottling it up." Then my other friend told them, "You don't know Hannah. She will never bottle it. She will tell us in
Yeah.
the morning. She will tell us." And I was like, for me, that's a good thing because I'm not going to die alone. And for the longest time, I didn't know how to do that because my parent was from a totally different generation. Both my parents. I lost my dad when I was about 12, turning 13. And my mom, I was adopted. So my mom was like 90. So she was 55 when she got me. So can you imagine the age gap, the difference? I want to talk to my mother about my boyfriend because Mimi, I think I had this Gen Z spirit even before that. So we are in the university and I am bringing my boyfriend for Christmas. My older cousins who were around could not believe it. They could not believe it because they were like, huh? This is the same
Wow.
parent that raised all of us.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. So that is what I was. And for her, she ignored it. Like she can tell what is going on. So later on, when like rubber hits the road, is when she's coming, "No, I actually liked that young man. You should have married that one instead of the one you're marrying." I'm like, Mom, Mom, when I asked you, you should have told me, talk about it then. So Mimi, and talking, it's not attention seeking. Talk to, and I pray parents, don't be like my mother. It's what she knew. Now you know better. That's why Dr. Carol is here to teach you better. Imagine, be open to listening to them. They will tell you so much, then you'll not say, "Oh, it came out of nowhere." No, it didn't. It's small, small things that build up over time. Then it's just a phase. You grow out of it. While some emotional experiences are temporary, mental health conditions require care, not dismissal. Ignoring them only makes them worse. Early intervention is often key to recovery. Yeah. We heal through support, treatment, and time, not getting over it, not suppressing it and saying, "I'll get over it." No, let me just say, when sometimes you started, you're angry and then the other person is like, yeah, that small thing is what angered you. And then when you sit down, if you're self-aware and you sit down and you're like, anyway, it was triggered by something else. So something that you have bottled up and have not dealt with comes up in another situation
Which
and your
seems
reaction is
small.
not equal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. So your reaction is not equal to the thing that has happened now, but it's because of that suppressing that you're asked to do. So don't suppress it. Deal with it. Real men don't talk about feelings. That one right there, it is killing our young men. It is. Suppressing emotions leads to anger, isolation, addiction, or even suicide. Mental health doesn't discriminate by gender. Vulnerability is strength, not weakness. And one of the things, so it's men cry, men break, men heal when they're allowed to feel. So one of the things that I like about Achilles Space is that most of our leadership is young men. And there is so much about, they are encouraged to speak. Speak about your trauma. Speak about what is going on in your life. Speak about how was your week. Do you need us to check on you? What do you need? And so when we sit together and we're just talking, and someone says something, we're not going to laugh at you because you feel some type of way. I'm a man. I should not feel bad that my girlfriend dumped me. No, you feel bad. You cry. It is wrong. They should not have left you. You cry. It is okay. All right. Then another one. Social media is the cause of all youth mental health problems. So that generation that does not understand social media, this is one of the things they say all the time. So social media can contribute to stress, but it's also a space for connection, creativity, learning, and support. The issue is not the platform itself, but how it's used. Mental health struggles existed before Instagram and TikTok. So digital literacy, not digital blame. So how about teach them how to use these minis? Yeah.
And there
So
are tools and resources to help in the digital literacy,
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So myth number 10, and actually that same platform that causes in quotes the stress is where you'll also find your help. So again, double-edged sword, I guess.
Right.
You're just stressed about exams or relationships, you'll be fine. I try to imagine a 14-year-old who 15, 16, or whenever someone gets their first love. And they feel that this is the rest of their lives. I'm going to marry this one.
Yeah.
And you feel it so deeply. As an adult, you know for sure it's just teenage love. It's going to go, it's going to disappear. You'll meet others and life will go on. But now put yourself in that 14, 15-year-old shoes. They don't know that. So put yourself in this young adult's life. My life is exams. My life is this relationship that I'm in right now. That's my life. That's what I know. And that's the stress I have. I don't have further knowledge. I've not lived another life so that I know this too shall pass. So in this place that I'm in, don't dismiss me. Yeah, don't dismiss their stress about exams or relationships. School and relationships can cause stress, but for many young adults, it's much deeper. Suicidal thoughts, hopelessness, and identity crisis aren't just exam related. So don't minimize their struggles. Listen to them. There was another sad occurrence just the other day, and a young lady tried to commit suicide in the hostels. And they were rushed to the clinic, and the clinic couldn't help at that time, so they were taken to, I think, Kenyatta or Nairobi Hospital, one that is close by. And for someone, and it was relationship related, yeah, and they were in an abusive relationship. Can you imagine? You're in college and you're already being abused. You're not even married. You don't even. This is where parents say you don't even have. You have no business being in a relationship, but we know that they are in relationships. So how about make it possible for them to don't? They shouldn't be hiding their relationships from you. They shouldn't be hiding the exam stress or their friendship stress. People are bullied out here, even that online. They are bullied completely by their friends. And someone decides, I have to end it because they don't have a support system. And that isolation allows this bully to deal with them properly. But if the rest of the family, we as parents are involved, and we're like, so this child can come to me and tell me, so mommy, this and this happened. Is this normal? And then you'll know it's not normal, and you know where this leads. And it starts with small things, small things. And one day it becomes now the beating, it becomes amepigwa ngumi, it becomes like they've verbally abused you. And it starts with small things. We as parents know how to look for these things. These children do not. So
Don't have
open
the skills,
communication.
they don't have the insight, they don't have the experience.
Exactly. So don't minimize those relationships. Let them tell you about them. Yes, that was my last point.
Handmaids, yay. Amazing. I think, and we can add to that so many, but I like that you have made them very simple and accessible and relatable as well with the examples that you're giving. So
Yeah.
as we touch down, then what are these practical strategies that families can begin practicing so that we build respect, we build connection across generations? Because we've talked a lot about the problem and the myths and what's not working and what parents wish they knew. What
Yes.
can we do?
So we start with listening, not lecturing. So when they come, tell me more about that. Parents can invite young people to share their thoughts, opinions, or struggles without interrupting or correcting. Young adults, in return, can listen to understand and not just to defend themselves. So it matters because listening signals respect and openness, which builds trust on both sides. So listen more. Don't lecture a lot. Listen more.
And
Then
the part of the young people also listen
you
without
don't know
being
everything.
defensive. Yes. Okay.
Yes, you don't know everything as a young person. Listen, there's something to learn from them. Don't always want to learn from your own experience. Again, learn from someone else's book. It's less traumatizing, less painful. Yeah. Then we can set regular family check-in times. So we make time to talk, not just when there's a problem. We dedicate time for open conversations, not just rule enforcement or discipline. Keep the space judgment-free. Focus on connection, not control. So why it matters, regular honest conversations prevent tension from building and normalize emotional sharing. So let me say this. Drugs and alcohol are very normalized nowadays, but not for the parents' generation. So as much as you are not, you do not agree with weed, you do not agree with whatever other drugs or alcohol or partying or things like that, I think one thing that parents need to understand is that it is going to happen regardless of whether you agree or not. So about having a safe space for your children, where your children know, I am not for this, but again, you come to me. When you go out there and do what happens and do you black out and do what, you come to me. It is not okay. I'm not reinforcing your behavior. I am not saying, but you can come to me, judgment free. The other one is share personal stories, not just expectations. This one is very hard because sharing your own youth experiences, your mistakes, your fears, and your lessons to your children is not easy because like my mom, so up and down. She has never touched a lick of alcohol. And then her friend tells me the way they in the club with my mother all the time before she got to a certain age. And that humanized my mom. So as much as I didn't end up going clubbing and drinking, and it was not because I knew it was wrong because she told me this is how I lived my life. But would I have been if I was the type who went clubbing and did that and then my mom was like, I also did these things. And I'm not telling you that they have consequences. These were my consequences. So, and it's not something that you need to continue and it causes addiction and it does this and it does that. When you humanize yourself in your children's eyes, they're even able to talk to you a lot more. Yeah. Then respect changing roles and independence. You are an adult now, and I want to support your journey. That part. They're not children. No, we've been talking like they're children, but they're adults. 18 to 29, those are adults. So recognize that they're adults. And then for the young people, they need to recognize the wisdom and sacrifices of their elders. Then normalize apologies in the home. I apologize to my little children. I say I'm sorry, but there's a generation that will rather die than say they're sorry. You come and tell your mom, oh, mommy or daddy, when you did this, it hurt me. Yeah, you get out of there with that nonsense. The way they were providing for you and did everything for you, that is what will come up. But honestly, you are just human. So you may have hurt your children inadvertently. Yeah. Okay. Emotional, that's it apologies model emotional maturity and create space for healing and repair. So use language that builds and not breaks. I see what you're trying to do versus you never listen. Oh, you are useless. Back in our day, you aren't like this. These young people of nowadays are spoiled. Use encouraging phrases. I may not understand fully, but I'm here for you. Help me to see your side of the story. Like help me what I want to understand where you're seated. How does that look like? That's what I'm talking about. Make room for mental health conversations. Are you really okay? Parents can ask without judgment how their children are coping emotionally. Young adults can advocate for themselves by saying, I'm struggling and could use your support. So, two-way street. Celebrate each other's efforts and progress. I see how hard you're trying. Recognize growth, whether it's in behavior, effort, emotional openness, or taking responsibility. It builds motivation and connection. Do something together regularly. Cook, garden, pray, do chores, or watch shows together. Create a no yelling or pause rule. So it's like when you feel like you're having this conversation and your child is driving you insane, how about pause? We come back to this conversation. So it even teaches this young person healthy conflict resolution. And also in that family, it helps them to feel, we are not avoiding, we are not emotionally damaging each other, but we are helping each other. Yes. So, yes.
Yeah, and those are practical. It's in, and those are the conversations I also have with parents. Listen without judging, be curious, open yourself up. I think it's, and what they tell me is that's it sounds nice on paper, but you're telling me I'm no yelling, no pause in the midst of something. I mean, what else do I do? And I think the invitation here at the Thriving Family Summit is to invite us to more of a self-awareness journey, that it starts with you. It starts with you identifying those triggers. What is it that you really do need to work on? Because one of the most common quotes that I use even in my spaces when I'm working with parents is from a book by Dr. Shefali. It's called The Conscious Parent. And she says, unless you are fulfilled, you will use your children to complete you. And that happens even more so during young adulthood. When they're just about to go, then you're like, oh my gosh, all these things that deep down I wanted to accomplish, they're not even anywhere close. And now you're telling me to listen and not to judge and not to do that. So I think also just an awareness to go back and see what are those spaces that I need to find my own fulfillment, to find my own healing, so that now I can come alongside this young adult as they struggle.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you feel, I left this one out, Dr. Caro, I must say, feel free to jump in as we now just come to the close. And then as you do that, just think about maybe something hopeful, something you can give parents who are wading through this muzzle and this puzzle of parenting young adults. What words of hope and encouragement can you give?
So I think one thing that a Gen Z told me, one of my friends, and we just started, she was just giving me her story, and she said that parents need to understand that we listen to them, we hear them. When they tell us this is the way walking it, we hear. We may not always do the right thing. We may not always, because again, we're also living different times, different experiences, but we hear. So they hear you. When you tell them, oh, this is the way you need to go, these are the things you need to do, look for a job. Do you go to school fast? Do you do what? Do what? They hear you. So keep talking, but how you say it also matters, because they're always ready to defend themselves. So just say it with a lot of love and a lot of this is my opinion. I hope you listen, because this is how I have gone through life. It may help you somewhere. They listen and they love you and they understand. Nowadays they understand that you are just raising them from what you knew. So they understand you. They forgive you, most of them. They forgive you for how they feel they should have been raised better. They have come, again, this thing of being open with mental health and speaking about trauma and things like that has made them understand that they were raised the way their parents knew how. And that's okay. So just trying to change the trends, trying to change the cycle. But they understand you and they love you and they hear you. Yeah.
That's a good way to end this conversation, parents. They listen, they get it. I think being able to speak about their struggles and maybe how you didn't raise them right doesn't necessarily mean they are blaming you. And so our invitation again to both young adults and to parents is, let's look for ways to find the solutions, to take the responsibility for now without shifting blame from one side to another. Hana, thank you so much. You've brought such honesty, you've brought bubbleness, you brought life into this conversation and the realities of young people today, because they are most often understood. You have used your voice to shed a lot of light, to see both the challenges and also the possibilities, that there is actually hope. So thank you so much for being here. And for everyone who is listening, we will share Hana's contacts and everything that she does and where you can find her alongside as part of the Thriving Families Summit resources. Thank you so much, Hana.
Thank you so much, Dr. Carol, for having me. This was fun.
It was fun. I acknowledge. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.